What's up, guys? So this one's a quick video about in response to a question I got. So this is for Sean and anyone else who is questioning whether they should do 11 X-ray, 18 X-ray, or doing 11 X-ray with an option 40 thrown in there. So first off, I would say if you're even considering any form of special operations, I would go with that over trying to go regular Army and then special operations. There are too many barriers that can get set up for you if you go to a regular Army unit and then think maybe down the line you'll go special operations. To me, that's just it's an unnecessary risk. So I would not recommend going 11 X-ray unless you do it with option 40 if you are considering option 40. If you just want to be 11 X-ray, that's fine. But if you are considering option 40, I highly recommend you make sure that that's in your contract versus just doing 11 X-ray and then maybe trying to come. There's a lot of reasons for that, but a lot of it that's my opinion. I think you're going to set yourself up better for in special operations, just for all kinds of things, career progression, schools. I just would recommend it. So now, as far as 18 series versus regiment, I can't really help you much there, just because you're going to have to decide whether you want to be a Ranger or you want to be a Green Beret. They've got different mission sets. I've got videos talking about that a little bit, but there's a lot more videos that do talk about Green Berets, especially. So yeah, you just got to figure out what you want to do. As far as contact with family, so basic was actually a pretty big hurdle for me. I wasn't expecting basic to be the hurdle. I was focusing on selection and all that, and I wasn't even really thinking that much about basic. But when I got to basic, I was like, wow. And it's because there's such a long stretch of time where you're not able to contact your loved ones. So being, especially if you're newly married, it's going to be rough. I told my wife about the question, and she said, just tell him not to join at all. But if you're heart set on joining, and you feel like your marriage is in a healthy place where you guys are going to be alright not seeing each other, then go do whatever you feel like you need to do. It took me almost 2.5 years to really live with my wife. But that's just because I went 18 X-ray, I got reclassed, I went to AIT, I dropped an option 40, and then I went to Ranger school. So I pretty much had it stacked up. So if you are kind of decisive for one or the other, it hopefully won't be that bad for you. But now I talked to her. We actually lived together for a few months during that time. But as far as her being permanently stationed with me, it was a little over 2 years before we were really together. So sorry, back to the timeline. Basic. It's just kind of cadre dependent, drill sergeant dependent on when you get phone calls. I don't expect any phone calls the first few phases. If there's a holiday, a big holiday like Thanksgiving or something, they might give you your phones. But again, it's just plan on not having your phone for basic, and then on the off occasions when you do, it'll be exciting and it'll be fun instead of a disappointment if you don't. And that might change a little bit because I've heard they're extending the infantry OSET quite extensively. So I feel like a lot of things have to change if they're going to do that. But anyways, I don't really know what they're going to do. So after basic, OSA, well, it's OSA, so it's basic and AIT together for 11 series or 18 series. The next point would normally have been Airborne school, whether you're 18 or an option 40. Option 40 has already changed it to where you don't go to Airborne school until after. I know that they're already implementing that. And the 18 series program is also, I've heard rumors that that's about to take effect. I talked to some guys that just are in Airborne right now last week, and they said that they were one of the last classes, and they were planning on switching Airborne to later on in the course, which to me doesn't really make sense because you're here in Benning, you might as well get Airborne out of the way and then go to Bragg, but who knows. I guess they liked what Regiment was doing and decided to copy it. Regiment had to do that because a lot of guys were getting option 40 contracts, doing Airborne, and then quitting. So now they had their Airborne wings, and they didn't have to, keep trying to get to be Ranger 2. So they did away with that. So you have to actually get through RASP to then go to Airborne now. For anyone who didn't know that. All right. So after, if you choose option 40 and potentially if you choose 18 extra, you should get your access to your phone after you graduate. There's going to be a family day in basic, and then there's going to be graduation. You can see your wife and family on those 2 days, but after that you're going to be going straight to RASP, or you're going to be going to Airborne School / Fort Bragg if you're an 18 series. The 18 series, either way, you're going to have your cell phone, so you can at least call on the weekends and the evenings, whenever. At least it was when I went to Fort Bragg. But yeah, so that's just and then also in pre-RASP you'll be able to call. You may have a weekend off here or there, so maybe they can drive down and visit you or something like that. If you go to the 18 series and you go to selection, so say you decide to go 18 series, you graduate OSA, you saw your family for basic, graduation and family day, you go to Fort Bragg, you get selected. Now they tell you to move your family to wherever. Actually, they usually recommend don't move your family, but the Q course is 2 years, so you're going to move your family. And after that, I don't know, because obviously I didn't get selected, so I'm not. So I've heard it's kind of tough just because you're always in a school. There's just months that you don't see them, and then you see them for a few weeks, and it's kind of hit or miss for 2 years. So, but I don't have the personal experience, so I don't know exactly what to tell you there. As far as if you chose an option 40, it would just be however many weeks or month or two until you class up in pre-RASP. You wouldn't have your phones for the first half of RASP. At least that's the way they were doing it when I went through. And then you get your phones the second half. So it's 4 weeks in the first phase of RASP, and then it's 4 weeks in the second phase. And in the second phase, they gave us our phones, but they held the right to take away our phones, if we did something stupid. So, and yeah, after that, you'd go to Airborne School. You have your phones then. You have weekends off, and then you're free. I mean, you move your family to wherever you get stationed, whether it's Washington, Fort Benning, or Savannah. and you're living with your wife. So that's the Ranger route. Now just keep in mind, if you do choose Ranger, one of the first goals is they're going to be trying to get you to Ranger school as soon as possible. So that's going to be some more time away from your family, but it's going to be much less than if you were to choose, as far as what I've heard, and I'm assuming it's a bit less than that first 2 years that you're going to have in the Q course. It's less, I guess, time demanding. You'll be able to get everything out of the way faster and spend more time with your wife. And honestly, regiment is a pretty good platform to move over to special forces. So guys do it all the time, and it looks good on your resume when you're going over there. I've also heard it helps if you're really wanting to go to a QRF team on a quick reaction force, which is more combat oriented side of special forces. So if you're a bat boy, you've been in regiment, you go over, you're 11 Bravo, been in regiment, you go over there, they're more likely to want you on a QRF team if you've been in regiment. Now that's just what I've heard. Obviously I don't have facts to back that up. So yeah, hope this helps. It's hard. You're gonna spend a lot of time unable to contact your wife and family, except for maybe through letters. And RASP is usually pre-RASP, which is usually so kind of like, I mean, you have your cell phone, so you're not, so you do have time, but you don't really get to see them, just because you have formations, and if you get a long weekend, maybe they can drive to you. I know my wife did that for me once. It was great. But yeah, it's that's about as good as I got it, man. So hope that helps and gives you a little more information.